You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete. Intelligence System Analytic Computer is activated. All ISAC systems are confirmed online. Data scanned. Downloading files.
What's up, guys? You listen to episode 57 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of the Division. This week, update 1.6.1 drops, and the ETF is now taking place. And we'll have another ideas for Massive later on in the show. But first, my name is Mike, and joining me are my co-hosts, Robert.
Hello.
And Luke.
Hello.
And what have we been up to? Well, before we start on what we've been up to, there is a speed challenge going on at the minute, isn't there, Luke?
There is a brand new speed challenge this week, yes. Brand new hashtag as well. Hashtag SpeedRep.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I can't remember which one of the three of us idiots thought of that one, but we did. So yeah, that saves you a few characters now on Twitter.
What's the mission?
The mission is Russian consulate.
Cool. And that's
World
on
Tier
hard,
5,
right?
hard mode, as ever.
Right.
So yeah, get at it.
How long have we got? How long have we got to do this challenge?
8 p.m. GMT on Sunday. That's this
Cool.
Sunday, which is the 28th of June. May, even.
Oh my god, we're off to a solid...
Got a whole month to do it. Sweet.
Yeah.
We're off to a solid start here today, guys.
28th of May. 28th of May, definitely May.
And that is for the Division. I know we talk a lot of crap at the start of the podcast half the time, but that is for the Division, the game this podcast is meant to be about. Speaking of other stuff, what have we all been up to this week, guys? Rob, have you been playing Destiny this week?
No, none whatsoever. I've been playing loads of Division.
Sorry, Rob, that's got to be a new record. That's like 3 weeks since you played Destiny now.
Yeah. Sad times.
Good
The
times.
game is
I say.
dead.
Good times.
That game is dead.
No, I've been really enjoying Division. I've just been making loads of builds ready for when Loadouts came, and it's awesome. Loadouts is brilliant. Been doing quite a lot last stand because when last stand came out, I didn't really hit it as hard as you guys did, and I'm kind of liking it now. So I've been playing that quite a lot.
Good.
Cool.
Can I just ask, have you beat your best score from when we did it, like pretty much on day 2 or whatever it was?
No, my healing score. No.
Yeah. That night is still my best score as well.
Yeah.
What else have we done this week? Obviously, update 1.6.1 dropped. People have been working on builds. I got a Banshee build together after talking to Rob, and he pointed me to a certain person's video. And if anybody that follows us on Twitter has seen something I put out, I only went into the Dark Zone to go get a mod, and I turned around and put a guy down that went rogue on me in about 2 seconds. So thank you to that person.
Were you not running your Banshee build yesterday too?
I was running my Banshee build when we, both of us went into the Dark Zone, didn't we, dude?
We did.
And yeah, how did that go down, Luke?
I have to say that was one of the more fun times I've had in the Dark Zone in the last couple of weeks, because there was very few Seeker Mines around. There were even less shotguns around. But me and you just had a laugh, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, basically, we went into the Dark Zone. I was like, I've got my Banshee build. I kind of like this. I'd got a taste for blood after that.
I told you it was good.
Yes, you did. And basically, we were like, right, we need to find rogues because I want to kill people with that 20% extra damage. And yeah, we came up against like, what was it, 4 people that were trying to kill each other. I was like, it was kind of a dick thing to kind of butt in on what they were doing, but they did start taking pot shots at us. So we were like, all right, we'll try and we'll playfully put these guys down. I didn't even fight back that first time. So they put me down straight away. I know you stayed out there and got put down, didn't you?
Also, then now you've got 20% extra damage, right?
Exactly. That's why I didn't even bother fighting back. I just went down and I was like, dude, I got 20% extra damage. I was actually, for the first time, I was actually happy to be took down by rogues because I got my 20% extra damage. Came back out and we fucked up all 4 of them within about, what was it, a minute?
Yeah,
Dead.
Perhaps not even that. You were running, well, you just said your Banshee build. I was on my Predator build. Job's a fish. Worked like a treat, didn't it?
Put it this way, I picked Luke up at the end.
True.
Right.
That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it was pretty clutch at the end.
That was good. And and then it ended up in a little bit of a division circle jerk not the division doctrine circle jerk.
But
because
that's less of a thing as well now, isn't it? The circle jerking, now that they've actually fixed hip firing. There was a lot more ADS in, wasn't there? Which is kind of showing that people have got a little bit of skill, maybe. So, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of, you figure out the people that don't know how to ADS because they've been hip firing all along.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else did we play? We played a little bit of Overwatch yesterday as well.
Yep.
What was the name of that game mode? I can't remember what it was called. Was it Mayhem? It was
Mayhem, wasn't it?
Was it Mayhem? Dude, it's so fun.
Yeah.
If you've played Mayhem on Destiny, it's we got, what was it? We absolutely slaughtered when we were attacking, and then we were defending. We held them off at that first like payload point for like the entire match and wouldn't let them through.
Yeah, that was good fun as well.
Is it like Destiny? Do you get like constant supers?
It's not quite constant, but I think it's like a 200% buff or
Like
something
fast charging
stupid.
supers.
Very.
Right.
You get a health buff as well, don't you?
Yeah, health buff by I can't remember what it is, but it's everything's on cooldown a lot quicker. You've got your shield there. You've got, well, I say shield. I mean, I'm using Orisa, but that's me. Anyway, if everybody's done, we'll go on with some division news.
State of the game.
So this week, I guess we're kind of having our own state of the game, guys, because both Yannick and Hamish are a bit busy over in Newcastle with the ETF. So as I'm sure you're all aware, update 1.6.1 has finally gone live across all platforms, guys.
Woohoo!
And okay, let's talk about it first. Loadouts.
Oh,
I don't know where to start, dude. How did we not have these before? Right? I always thought it would be freaking cool to have these in, and the idea, I understand the idea, but man, it's so freaking awesome. Like, guys, what do you think, Luke?
I love it. Instantly love it. Logged in on Tuesday, about 9 o'clock, something, my usual gaming window. Just spent an hour putting 5 builds together across 2 characters, straight away into loadouts, bang, bosh, saved, done. Right, which build do I play with? I don't know, because I could choose them all, and it takes me 3 seconds to cycle through all 5. It's awesome. I don't know how, I don't know how we ever played the game without them before, trying to remember where everything went and what gun had what mod on it. I don't know.
Well, I did the dick thing. I was like, oh, screw it. I'm going to put attack set on, go into Last Stand, go try Seeker Mines, and see how bad Last Stand is, because, as we'll talk about in a bit, Seeker Mines have been slightly adjusted. And it worked in one map, and then I switched to a different map. I didn't feel like it was working so well. So I was like, cool. It took me 2 seconds. I had my builds pre-made. I'm going to run, what was it, Predators or Strikers. Like, the possibilities are there now. My only issue, I need more freaking slots for different builds now. I know, it's a minor complaint. It's not even a complaint.
You already run out of room?
No, maybe. Haven't you?
No, maybe.
You not used all your 6 slots? No, I'm not about the
yeah, I
backpack.
have, yeah. But I've got
build
3,
slots,
I've got 3
that's
of the
what I'm on
characters
about.
to fill out yet, so... Well, technically 4 of the characters if I PC. But...
Yeah. I'm only running one character, but... Luke,
Still only running one character?
Yeah.
Dude.
I know.
Just create more and just use them as mules.
Yeah, especially now your backpack is 120 slots. That's all the loot you ever need right there.
You have no idea how good that is to me at the minute. 120 slots.
So you've used all 6 of your slots already?
Roughly. Like, one of them I can get rid of because it was just a double up because it was different skills and things like that.
So I've done I've done 5 across 2 characters. What have you done, Rob?
I've got 6 on one character, but one of them's like I've left it as trial. So like I've got 5 builds that I know are solid, and I've got one that I'm just going to muck about with until I've got another good solid build, and then I'm going to move on to another character.
Well, I've got my Hexo, my Striker, my Pred, my what did I just say? Hexo, Pred, Striker, Deadeye, and I'm putting together a Sentry. It's built, but it's not min-maxed. So
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much the same as you guys. Striker, Predators, Tactician, Banshee, and then I did like an alternative Banshee with like different weapons or
Yeah.
skills. I think, or either that or it was attack set. It was healer. It was like a healer build instead.
Mine's
being
I've got
Seekers or something.
I've got a 3-piece tack, a Banshee / Pred, like 3-piece Banshee, 3-piece Predator, a Pred set, attack set, final measure set, and someone else.
I think the good thing about it.
Count.
I think the good thing about it is definitely it's gonna be a lot easier to have like build diversity.
yeah,
in the game now. Yeah, I mean, Rob, what I know you played it on the PTS, and I know it wasn't as new for you, but
Yeah.
how did you feel about it?
It's still good because like I mainly use a PS4, and when I went on I had the PTS on the PC obviously, but like I don't have as much good gear sets and like full, because I haven't been playing it for very long, so it was good, but I didn't really have the builds to put together. Now I've got 4 characters on PlayStation, so yeah, it's still good. Just novelty wasn't as a little bit worn off compared to you guys, I guess.
No, that's cool. That being said, we do have patch notes for this week's update. Rob, do you want to give us like a very brief rundown on some of the things that was actually brought with the new update?
Level 34 mags. Now max is 121%. And if you're lucky, some of them are retroactive, even though they said they weren't going to be. I think I have one that was 120.5, which is nice. Practically max. As we said before, Nimble now applies its healing over time for 4 seconds when in the same cover. Leaving cover will stop. No, I don't think that's true, but they also fixed a bug where some items could not be calibrated to the maximum stat. That's awesome because I've been trying to get max rolls on my skill haste for ages.
Oh, don't talk about that. I was in the frickin' terminal last night trying to roll firearms for skill haste. Could I get that? No.
And they've also fixed loads of stuff across Survival, Underground, Last Stand, missions and UIs and talents and stuff, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, they really did try and fix a lot with this patch. Skills being one of the main ones. Luke, what have they tried to do with skills?
So our favourite thing currently, Seeker Mine Airburst. They've taken 20% of the initial explosion damage and moved it to the fire effect, and that can now be cleansed with your med skills, I believe. I can't remember if it's med kit or med skills, one or both. So the total amount of damage is unchanged, but there's now an active counter for it. You can obviously there's the rolling dodges and stuff that you can do from Seeker Mines, or you can shoot them, etc., etc. But the initial sort of one-shot kill should now be less possible.
What are your guys' initial thoughts? Obviously, we've all been Dark Zone and Last Stand. How do you feel this is kind of? Is it in a good place now? Do you think?
Go and watch a video by Like Butter. There's a video he's done. I think it was either today or yesterday. They basically tested the shit out of it, and it's not OP anymore at all.
No,
they made it very apparent it's not.
I've seen like a few things on Reddit, and like somebody did like a video where some guy was like 200. It was like 287 health in the Dark Zone, and he just like one shot him pretty much with Seeker Mines. But the thing is, it's under different conditions and teamwork and buffs and talents and things like that all being active. And I think the only thing that I did see that kind of made sense was the fact that before you're kind of getting like hit with explosion damage or fire effect damage, but before you'd kind of get like staggered out the way. So what's happening now is you're like getting set on fire, and then you're not moving that whole time, but you're burning, and you can't really do anything about it. But then you've got like other people just directly like shooting you straight, if that makes sense. They can basically just stand there and shoot you without much effort, if that makes any sense. But I like.
Well,
It's not
that's kind of good, though, isn't it? Because they're supposed to be an aid to using your weapons.
Yeah, I've always said that. They're supposed to be an aid rather than a primary, aren't they? People were just popping and profiting and running off completely in the opposite direction, weren't they?
Yeah.
And you can still one-shot with them.
One-shot them. Yeah,
But you have to have everything on, like, you have to have a tac build with everything on electronics.
Yeah, I was
And
running
even
about
then, it's not a certain thing.
No, I was running about 370k electronics on my tap build at one point last night, which is probably not that great, but I did manage to somehow one-shot somebody. I suppose it really just depends on your build at the end of the day.
It depends on their build as well, doesn't it? It's not just your build, it's their build. If they're running a completely and utterly glass cannon Deadeye, then yeah, you're going to one-shot them. But if, like, because we all run fairly balanced builds, don't we? I know we stack into firearms more than anything else, but we're still at like 330, 360k toughness. So we're not glassy. And we were getting one shot. I mean, that last night we went into Last Stand in the Dark Zone before patch 1.6.1 went live.
Oh,
everybody was using shotguns and seeker mines, weren't they? Like it was the day before the apocalypse or something ridiculous. It was crazy. But... So yeah, I'm glad they're gone. The other thing is the stagger has been all but removed from shotguns.
It's still there, it's just not.
It's still there, but not. Yeah,
it doesn't make you shoot the sky anymore.
So my favourite weapon in the game is now more balanced. Thank God. I'm talking about weapons.
Before you go any further, like you said, we went into the Dark Zone. What was it? Monday night.
Yeah,
it was horrific.
Yeah,
and we went into Last Stand, and everybody's using shot. Yeah, and it was kind of like it was the final hurrah for those things, and I can kind of get that, but it was just not enjoyable for that day. So. Yeah,
no, and complete contrast when we went in the Dark Zone last night, we had a laugh, didn't we? And there was just two of us, so you'd expect it not to be that enjoyable because you're instantly getting outgunned and out-teamed. But
imagine if I was there healing you guys.
Oh man, we'd have been unstoppable.
That's literally what we said. It was kind of like, oh man, I wish Rob was here because I think you were busy. But
I was playing PC.
It was you were playing PC, but it was just, I don't know. I wasn't worried about going rogue and having like 24 people trying to freaking take me down with like seekers and shit like that. Anyway, go on.
The only other thing is that the burst fire weapons have now got a maximum RPN, so you can't bind fire to your mouse wheel and spam the shit out of a burst fire MP5 and get unlimited RPM and unlimited damage. That's the other thing that they fixed, which is needed. I think that was a bit OP on PCs, wasn't it? Obviously not really bothering consoles too much, but I think that was getting popular.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, with a patch like this, which is meant to be a quality of life update, unfortunately, some of the usual problems that can happen when this is added to the game is basically we've got a few bugs. I say a few, there's quite a few that have basically either arrived a couple of days before this went live or have kind of cropped up since this patch has kind of been added. So
it wouldn't be the Division without these bugs, though, would it? NPCs seems to have a damage buff more than before. That's one people have been moaning about. Ninja Backpack is still dropping. Haven't had one myself. Alt bugs, I don't know much about. To be honest, I haven't been on Reddit or anything or experienced many of the bugs, so I don't know the deets.
I'm gonna just advise you to stay away from Reddit. It's a good place right now.
I bet it tastes salty though. Fire ammo glitch. Fire from skills grenades are actually lasting longer than normal.
That's what she said.
Mobile cover has a little issue, which I won't go into detail. And I must admit, a lot of the community are a bit of an uproar at the moment. There's a bit of salt for this patch, isn't there? But there are fixes on the way.
Woohoo!
I think Reddit's doing its usual overreaction, isn't it, with all the keyboard warriors? Because I saw one guy say that, I can't remember if it was on Reddit or Twitter, but He was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, you can't do anything right. Ninja Backpack is still dropping in the Dark Zone." Like, big deal. Yes, they said they were taking it out of the game and they forgot to take it out of the Dark Zone, but big fucking deal. Like, what has it really cost you by it dropping in the Dark Zone? Oh, you didn't get another Hungry Hog, or you didn't get another Tommy Gun, which you're not going to use anyway because they're shit.
Oh, so they've taken out the loot pool for like caches, but they just haven't. All right, okay.
Yeah,
well,
they
that's
literally
kind of,
forgot to take it out of the Dark Zone. That's all they did. And it's getting fixed tomorrow. So, my usual comment applies. People need to just fucking chill a bit.
the fire ammo bug's getting fixed tomorrow as well, isn't it? Because that's
Yeah, there was no maintenance today, but they're actually going to fix a couple of these things tomorrow, and we'll probably see like a few of these disappear in tomorrow's maintenance. Hopefully, it's not the best at the minute. It's definitely not been the most welcomed patch so far. But like personally, I've not come across half these things. I think the only couple of things that have really affected me personally is fire damage seems to last a little bit longer than it should. I don't know if you guys would agree. And NPC damage. I do feel like NPCs have had somewhat of a, I wouldn't say buff because it's not obviously been done on purpose, but it does feel like damage from net NPCs has been increased slightly.
It's just a bit of a shame because it kind of shadows over all the shit they fixed. Do you know what I mean? They fixed a ton, and then we've got a few bugs, and that's just like
everyone's shitting on it.
Yeah, it's just a bit pish.
Give them time. They're gonna fix all these bugs. This is not as bad as 1.3.
No, people need some perspective, don't they? When you put it into that perspective of the shit dark days of 1.3, the game is 5 times better than it ever was.
Yeah, but if we were to sit here and list this amount of shit they fixed on Tuesday compared to that list of bugs that were still there,
yeah,
Patreon. I'm joking, but you're totally right, man.
Good idea.
This is stuff that is going to get fixed, whether it's today, whether it's next week, it will get fixed one way or another. That's
exactly what I was just going to say. I was in the fortunate position that I jumped into a Twitter feed that Matt Shotcher was part of earlier today and said, look, I've got some bugs that I know about. Would you want me to report them publicly or DM you or stick them on the forum? He said, well, I'm on the way to the office, DM me and I'll investigate them for you. There was 6 of them. Apparently one of them is intended, so it's not a bug, it's just people don't understand how it works. And the other 5 are already under investigation and will be fixed, 2 of which will be fixed tomorrow. So they are still working on it. Happy days.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing as well. Like, shout out to Matt Shotcher because he is like on the front line for this every day, with on all the socials and on the Ubisoft forums and even on Reddit. I think he's been on there as well, which is not one of the best places to be sometimes. Yeah. So for him to do that,
brave man.
Yeah, props to.
And it hasn't gone unnoticed by the guys over at Newcastle Reflections. We actually had a response from Yannick on the Division forums. I'm not going to read the whole lot, but it's basically saying, they've realized that the lack of acknowledgement of bugs showing up with update 1.6.1, and they basically come to say, unfortunately, it's happened the same time they're at the ETF, so they aren't in the best place for communication. And, things aren't being ignored. You have other people working on these things. Matt Shotcher's there as well. You've also got Gabe. Gabe's left the Division team to go work on Uplay stuff over in Massive, so he's going over there. So good luck for the future, man. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's just one of those things at the end of the day, and they can't be on top of it every 5 minutes. Like, we've had stuff like this happen. If anyone's played Destiny or any other game, you'll have a release go out and it could be like a week before you get anything back. Because I know Bungie don't always do that, do they, Rob? They'll wait till like the following week after an update.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, speaking of ETF, the ETF is actually in full swing. What are they? 3rd day in at the minute. Though by the time you hear this, it will be possibly the last day. So
possibly over.
Yeah, it'll be over by the time most people hear this, I would have thought. But they have been quite busy from what the dev team have actually been able to tell us over on the Ubisoft forums. What's actually been discussed between them at the minute so far?
So they're doing a broad view of year 2, so including but not limited to updates 1.7 and 1.8. The ETF agents were there obviously to provide their first initial reaction and provide feedback to the elements of 1.7 and 1.8, perhaps even put ideas forward for 1.8. And I know Terry Spear's been on Twitter commenting on how good the ETF Charlie agents have been at providing stacks and stacks of valuable feedback, so GG to those guys and girls. I know Shifty5, Binary Num, and Riley Out of Taylor have all been commenting that doors are OP, so I don't know what that's all about, but still.
That was due to, I don't know if anybody saw it, but Terry Spear actually put out, he used an article explaining, to try and help explain dev design or aspects of dev development and how they have to actually make decisions. And the example was literally using a door as an example. So the amount of thought that just goes into a door in a game is ridiculous. So when everybody's like fixed another weird door bug or something like that, like the amount of effort that's probably gone into that is a lot more than people think.
I've heard about that example bbefore. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So it's not literally doors then, they're just using it as an example.
Yeah, I think it was good of Terry to actually put it out there, like what kind of, I can't think of the words, context that's actually all meant in, because obviously they're all under NDA and things like that, and they can't literally say, oh, we were taught this today, you know?
It's kind of like an example to make you aware of how much variables go into something so mundane as a door.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the list. There was like 30 plus details that need to be. Yeah. Does the door shine? Does the door open this way? I'm not even going to go into it, but yeah.
Is that something to add to Rob's list of things he needs to read out verbatim?
Well, yeah, we could get Terry Spear to ask him to do that. I'm sure he'd love that.
That'd be cool. We get Terry Spear on the show and we make him talk about doors for an hour. Awesome.
Yes.
I would be down for that because I expect that would be a very interesting conversation. Anyway.
Right, back to the ETF guys. They have tested update 1.7 and particularly the global events, which was formerly known as seasons. Apparently, I think it was Joker Unique put out on Reddit that they've also tested changes to rogue mechanics that are currently scheduled for update 1.8. Now, I literally learned about this 5 minutes before we started recording, so that is quite exciting news to me. I'm sure
it's still a long way off.
It's a long way off, yeah, don't get me wrong. Update 1.8 is tentatively scheduled for the end of the year, isn't it? And that's likely to get pushed back, I suppose. But yeah, that's cool, because that accidental 19-second rogue bullshit is a lot of people's pet peeve for the Dark Zone, isn't it? So that's really interesting and quite exciting.
I know we're talking about ETF, but it would be nice if they just please reduce the rogue timer to about 10 seconds for accidental rogue till it gets changed. I know you're probably disagreeing, but if I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah,
carry on.
If you're going to change it completely. Don't just do a little tweak of it. Just leave it alone. People can live with it for now until it's fixed. The other things that Joker Unique put out on what he was allowed to say on Reddit was they are looking into new gear set ideas and rebalancing of current gear sets, as well as improvements just to the entire gear set feature. Going back to like the Dark Zone and the PvP, they're looking into the combat dynamic, which Mike has aptly named the chicken dance on the notes that we read from for the show. So,
no, I think that was Shotcha.
Oh, Shotcha did that. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. GG, Matt. So hip fire, cover, movement. There's the movement abuse as well, and they're particularly on PC that obviously is, I think that's more server side than anything else, but that's a pain in the ass as well for those guys. And then Underground. So the current issues with Underground, possible improvements to make it a more attractive game activity, the directives mechanic, the rewards for completing underground missions, and basically the variety of the underground missions. I think of all the things we just read out there, obviously the rogue mechanics is important to me, I guess to a lot of people. But the Underground definitely needs some love. Like,
Yeah.
really, really needs some love. I know the Dark Zone and Last Stand are popular, but I listened to Bombshell Jacket's latest episode this afternoon with Rempency and Eidolon Fox, and they were talking about how they feel that survival is the content at the moment that's keeping the game alive, because a lot of people are streaming that. But they went on to say that literally nobody ever streams Underground, and that's pretty much the only thing that nobody will ever stream.
I just want to call out, we did.
Yeah, but way back, and just because we were doing the big trophy thing that we needed to do.
No, I'm pretty sure we did it on our year anniversary or something, wasn't it? I don't know.
We didn't do it for long, I know that.
Yeah, I know, that's true.
It got very boring very quickly.
So, I mean, what do you guys think? Are you? I mean, I know obviously I already said I was excited for the rogue mechanics, but what? I mean, that list there. What do you think?
I'd like to see survival in there, but obviously we're only 2 days in.
Yeah, I'm hoping that 1.7 sees some reworking for like Underground and survival, and then 1.8 we get some reworking for Last Stand. That would be my guess of what was going to happen. Yeah,
I can live with that.
Yeah. What are we in? Yeah, there was also, wasn't there rumor? I'm pretty sure I heard rumors that 1.7 got pushed to summer. So I don't know how much of this they can actually get. Yeah,
that's really vague.
Dude, look outside. Yeah. It's summer now. It's fucking baking outside
tomorrow.
Today.
We're gonna get 1.7 tomorrow because it's sunny.
Yes. But
stealth patch.
Yeah. I'm hoping we get a lot of this added and whatever else they've obviously discussed. But at the minute, I'm just going to keep my expectations down because I've got a funny feeling we'll probably see most of this in update 1.8, being honest. For the amount of time and resources it's going to take to adjust all that, they've got a couple of months. You know?
I've never been one for thinking that Massive would listen to us and steal our ideas, but I disagree with you. I hope most of it comes for 1.7. And I hate to say this, but I think Destiny 2 is going to get in the way of update 1.8. There, I said it.
I agree. No, I completely agree. They need to get this patch out there now to keep the players.
No, not necessarily now. They need to get this patch right.
Not now. I don't mean as in now, but I mean there is a shiny coming.
Shiny.
The magpie's attracted. And obviously a lot of people are shouting for all this, and obviously, the better, the quicker you can get it out. But obviously, we want it to be right at the end of the day, don't we? So I'm in no rush for the content. I can't see it at 1.7, but that's just me. I'm hoping whatever they've got with global events is absolutely freaking awesome, and I'm looking forward to whatever they reveal. We've got a couple of weeks, and we've got E3, and there's a chance we might see something revealed there. We had something revealed there last year, so we can only see, even if it's like a free update. They've done free updates at E3 before, so not for this game, but for other games. They've revealed like free stuff there, so we'll see, I guess. I did have something else to talk about, but I think we'll probably leave that till next week. However, ideas for Massive.
I.F.M. Let's shorten it, okay?
Okay. So on this week's I.F.M, I've basically come up with a idea for Last Stand. I'm probably going to get a load of hate for this. We've all been playing Overwatch. I'm not using that as like the basis for it, but there's a lot of other games that have like loadouts, locks, and things like that. So the idea being, some of the issues with Last Stand tend to be that you have literally 8 people running Seeker Mines running at the other team, which you could argue that both teams could be running Seeker Mines, or 16 players, and it's a fair fight. But it would add a bit of build diversity if you basically said, here's a shield guy, that's the only person that could be a shield guy, and then the 7 other players basically have to play different builds and skills. They can't play the same, and maybe you'll have like 1 or 2 that can run the same, possibly, because if you do maybe a healer build, you do a skill build, and then have DPS. You can have a couple of different DPS. Yeah, you can have tank builds and things like that. What do you guys think about that? And what kind of builds would you like to see if that was a thing?
I think that's a really good idea. we've actually talked about this before, and I thought it would be a good idea that you could maybe pick a gear set and then pick a playstyle, as in tank, DPS, because all gear sets can do like skill. You can have a skill anything, you can have a tank anything, you can have a DPS anything. Like you pick one and then you pick the other and then you go in.
Oh, so you're saying basically like you could have tacticians but have two different variations of that build. So
yeah, you could have a tactician DPS.
But you can't have more than one of that build, like even out of the two. So you could have two tacticians playing in the same match, but one's healer and one's skill, like Seeker Mines, and that's it. Even though they're both using exactly the same build. I just like the idea of not having 8 people. I know it's not literally 8 people, but everybody running the same build in Last Stand. Let's see. I just kind of want to bring a bit of variety to the playlist. It doesn't even need to be in the Last Stand mode that we've got now. It could be a separate playlist that is literally for this. It could be a seasonal event. But it's using existing content. Loadouts are in the game. What would be really cool if they were like, we want to add this to the game. We'll take it to the community and go, you vote what builds you'd like to see in the game. Not only that, it's seasons. They could rotate what builds are in the game on a monthly basis. Luke, what are your thoughts on it?
You just stole my input then with using the seasons. That's fine. It's don't need to apologise. It was no, exactly when Rob was talking about you can have a tactician's DPS, a tactician's healer, and a tactician's skill build. I quite like that. So you're giving people the freedom to be, oh well, Rob's playing tactician. I don't want to play this round because I like to be tactician as well, which is kind of the Overwatch way of doing it, because there's multiple healers you can run in Overwatch, there's multiple tanks you can run in Overwatch, isn't there, etc., etc., etc. Whereas, I
was just going to say, it doesn't necessarily give your team balance though, because you can have like 2 healers, over in Overwatch and a load of shield guys, but you've got no DPS, so your team still might not be as good. But you haven't got, for example, using Overwatch, you haven't got 2 Reinhardts running around or 2 Roadhogs on the same team wrecking everybody. Yeah. And I kind of feel like we've got that a little bit with the Division. I'm not saying I want to take away people's builds, because I know that'd be the first thing. You want to take away my builds and you want to limit my options. It's not that. It's a different mode. You've still got the same mode.
That's important, isn't it? Knowing it's a different mode, you're actively selecting to go into that mode. And if you don't like it, come back out and play normal Last Stand or something. But
yeah. The only way I can explain it is like, if we don't get any changes to Last Stand in the next year, this is something so simple that's already implemented, something that is already in the game, and the community could vote on locked gear sets, and it's a minor user interface change. Like that's my thought on it. I know it's not as simple as just pressing a button. I know we say that every week when we're like, oh, maybe Massive should add this to the game. But I guess technically this is a Redstorm idea. Ideas for Redstorm.
One other thing I would say, when you say you were going to pick a gear set, then pick a build type, you could also go as far as pick a skill and then lock that skill to that for one.
Well, that's what I was going to say as well. So basically, if you run D3 and you have that locked, so nobody else can get it,
you're only going to want to run a shield, aren't you?
You would have to run a shield with it. The only tacticians, what would you want to run with it? You're either going to be running Seeker Mines, I know it's debatable, or healer build. I don't know, you can use Reclaimer, but that's another option for Reclaimer. So what you could basically have is obviously Banshee's not going to be in there, but you'd have your Predator's Mark, maybe have 4 or 5 selected weapons, and they've all got mods that are based around those weapons for that gun, and just have it all kind of normalized, all the stats normalized. It's already in there.
This would be good if it was a 4v4 mode, because then like if someone would have a pulse, someone would have a turret, someone would have Seekers, someone would have a heal station. Do you know what I mean? That's it, done. And then your role's already picked for you, pretty much.
Back in the darker days of Seeker Mines being everywhere in the Dark Zone, this is what me and a couple of our clan guys were talking about in the Dark Zone. When you log into the Dark Zone as a squad of 4, only one person can run Seeker Mines, and only one person can run Pulse, and only one person can run a turret. So you're creating what I wanted way back, but just moving it to Last Stand rather than the Dark Zone, which is cool. I like that. I do like that idea a lot.
Yeah,
and again, it's optional. Like you said, it is an optional game mode within Last Stand. So for people out there who don't like this idea, don't play it. Play normal Last Stand. Much the same as with our idea for Battle Royale Survival. It's an idea within Survival. If you don't like it, don't play it. Play normal Survival.
But how many builds are out there? Like, everybody, people that don't like this idea, like, well, I want to run this next season or have it on a monthly rotation.
I like that as well.
Next month.
Letting people vote for which builds in a season, and then the next season, right, everything that was voted for last time, not allowed, make new ones. And let's make it 8 builds or 12 builds or, I don't know, think of a number, but obviously...
It'd be like minor changes. So, like, I don't know, trying to think... Predator's Mark, you're running skill or something, you're running skill and vigorous, or you're going to switch up and run Savage Gloves, or this stuff in the game. And there's new gear sets theoretically might be coming in the future as well, so they could also be added. Or we could have, like, whether we'd run high ends with this as well or not is debatable, or whether we just run 6-piece, a balanced 6-piece, and then you haven't got things like high ends affecting it. You don't know.
To completely Overwatchify it, you could just create some characters that you use.
Yeah.
And what gear sets they have and what skills they have.
Well, they're in the game already. Because anybody that's had loadouts this week would have noticed that you have a tactician, you have a banshee, you have things like that. And you could literally just have 8 or however many gear sets, and literally you pick one and that's locked. So everybody else has to choose a different one. But the community, we keep saying the community because I want to bring community involvement into these kind of like discussions and ideas, is, threat to the community. Like, what builds do you want to see this month? And get it prepped beforehand. They've got PTS, test it on PC. Test it for a week on PC, they can balance it,
Well, the other PTSs they've promised to come into console as well, aren't they? So bang that in there. Let's all test it. Yeah. Because obviously different stuff is going to work different on console and PC. We've always said that, haven't we? Which is kind of the problem they've had with rebalancing everything from the get-go. So.
I was only saying really for PC to test it because they can test it just like that. They can throw a PTS out tomorrow. Yeah, other people are going to be salty, but they can pretty much throw up a PTS in a couple of days' notice once they've got the build running. Whereas I'm pretty sure they have to pay to do a PTS or do an up. We know they have to pay a bit of money to actually apply an update. Yeah. But that's my idea. So what would we call that if that was a game mode? What would you guys call that? Because I can't. That was the only thing I couldn't settle on a name.
Wow, really putting us on the spot now, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, dude. You've had all day to think about it and failed, and we get 5 minutes. Not even that.
What about like locked out? That's kind of using Overwatch. I was trying to think in like lockdown or something like that for Last Stand. Lockdown or something like that.
Last Stand lockdown would work, yeah.
Or just lockdown mode. So you've got Last Stand, which is your PvE mode, PvP mode, and then you've got lockdown, which is pretty much. You could have it as team deathmatch. You could have it as 4v4, like Rob said. You could have it as squad deathmatch. You could just have like 4 different. Oh man, there'd be so much variation in squad deathmatch. Don't get me started. But yeah, Rob, you got anything else you want to add?
Second wave of Last Stand.
Yeah, I want to see step 2 because I spoke to someone, and you don't have step 2 without the step 3. So there is a lot more to come.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody happy with that?
Yeah. GG. I like that idea very much.
So yep. Last Stand lockdown mode. Awesome. Thank you. Where can the listeners find us, guys?
You can find us at SITREP Radio on Twitter and Facebook. Send questions and feedback to the show to sitrepRadiopod@gmail.com. Or tweet us with the hashtag Team SITREP, as we are all affiliated with that hashtag.
You can find this podcast, SITREP Radio, on any of the following platforms: iTunes and Apple Podcasts on iOS devices, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Overcast, Stitcher, Player.fm, Pocket Casts, RSS feeds, and please rate, review, and subscribe while you're there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Make sure you also go over to Mash Those Buttons over on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and make sure to check out some of the other podcasts that are part of our Mash Those Buttons family.
And don't forget, you can always check out the episodes on YouTube, and we are started? That makes no sense. We have started doing the I.F.Ms on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so you'll see the I.F.Ms either posted on Facebook, Twitter, and they are on YouTube, so you can go check them out. It's just a quick 10-minute video to, so people can view it and get their thoughts across, I kind of guess, instead of, listening to the whole show. Anyway, thank you very much for listening this week, agents, and we will catch you in the Dark Zone.
Bye-bye.